The Zenfone 5Z. Asus has returned to competitiveness. I've spent a week with this phone as my primary, so how did it fare? Is it a great buy? Or are there things that the spec sheet just doesn't reveal? Well, let's find out in today's video, but before we do, if this is your first time here or in case you just can't remember, my name's Ash, you're watching C4 Tech, and welcome to my full review of the Asus Zenfone 5Z. If you end up liking what you see, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe and turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon. 2.5D Gorilla Glass to the front and back with aluminum in between, the traditional glass sandwich design, vertical cameras, the notch, it's all very 2018, very tried and tested. Asus has also added their own touch with the concentric circles to the back. The phone feels premium, it looks great. Ergonomically, it's slippery like all glass builds. The curved sides help keep it comfortable in hand though. The notch and minimal bezels ensure that the screen-to-body ratio is high, meaning the phone's relatively compact despite sporting a 6.2-inch screen. Now this is an IPS LCD panel with a Full HD Plus resolution and a 19:9 aspect ratio. The display looks great, covers a wide color gamut, offers excellent viewing angles and is bright enough. I did spend a lot of time shooting with it outdoors and visibility was never an issue for me. Personally, I've always had a fondness for AMOLED and would have preferred it to IPS LCD. So barring that, the fact that it is an AMOLED, there's nothing I can complain about with regards to the display. Asus have used a top-notch display here. Top-notch. Talking about the notch, you can turn it off if you dislike it. So, build check, display check, but all that won't amount to much if the 5Z didn't have the hardware chops to back it up. Now this is another area where Asus has excelled. The 5Z sports the top-of-the-line Snapdragon 845 chip with 6 or 8 gigs of RAM to go along with 64 to 256 gigs of onboard storage. To top it all off, there is support for microSD. Given the 845 chip inside, the performance, especially with intense tasks like gaming, was great. No matter what we threw at it, the 5Z barely broke a sweat. Now this was to be expected given it's got the Adreno 630 handling GPU duties. What really surprised me was how good the user experience was. Now the Zenfone 5Z is running on ZenUI built on top of Android 8 Oreo. Asus's software optimizations coupled with the excellent hardware makes for a great user experience. Whether it's opening apps or switching between them, it's all rapid fast. Asus have included a lot of AI functionality here and most of them were useful. Well, some might argue on the AI label here. I personally didn't care about labels as long as they worked as advertised, which they did. Other features include the presence of a face unlock, which worked very well. The fingerprint scanner was quite conveniently placed and was fast and snappy too. Now this user experience, the smoothness, it should come at a cost, right? The battery life probably sucks, doesn't it? Well, that's what I thought. But not really. I ended most of my week with about 20% juice left. To put it in relative terms, remember how I called the OnePlus 6's battery adequate? Well, this is about 10% better than that. So if this is good and this is bad and this is adequate, the 5Z is somewhere here, And then there's support for quick charge and AI charging, which basically avoids overcharging to extend the life of the battery itself. Talking AI, you get a healthy dose of that with the cameras too. In terms of scenes, anyway, let's now talk about the hardware itself. The primary is a 12 megapixel Sony IMX363 sensor with a f1.8 lens and OIS. Now we have an in-depth camera review if you want to check out more information on this, but in a nutshell, the camera does well under good light. Images are not gonna pop as much as you'd be used to if you are coming from certain other cameras because the saturation levels are left natural. Think more Apple style colors instead of Samsung style colors. There is a portrait mode. The edge reduction here is quite good. For the secondary camera, Asus have a 8 megapixel shooter with a 120-degree field of view. It is paired with the f2.2 lens. As you can see, the performance is again good. The colors produced by both cameras are on point, very natural, thanks in large to the dedicated RGB color sensor that Asus have provided. Now here are a few more examples. The wide aperture and large pixel size along with OIS means that even under low light the Zenfone 5Z performs well. Now whether it's under good light or low light, the camera is supposed to be utilizing AI to tweak the images. Like I said in the camera review, how much that helped in making the pictures look as good as they do here, I really don't know, and I really don't care. As long as the images turned out well, they did, so I don't really care about that. The images are quite good. On the video side of things, the 5Z can do 4K at 60 FPS without the regular 5-minute time limit, which is a pro. The resulting footage was great, good detail levels, fast autofocus thanks to the dual pixel autofocus, very stable since there is OIS on the primary sensor. Now another thing worth noting is that Asus also provides support for EIS on all 3 cameras. So yeah, the selfie camera also gets you support for EIS. Talking about selfies, the 8-megapixel f2 camera has a 84-degree field of view and performs quite impressively, retains a lot of detail and has above average dynamic range. There's a portrait mode here too that worked very well. So overall, the cameras are a positive here with the Zenfone 5Z. Now before we move on and wrap with the price, here are a few points of note. Let's start with the cons first. There is no water or dust resistance, official or unofficial. There is no support for super slow motion, no 60 FPS, not even 480 FPS. There is support for 1080p 240 FPS though. So now, for the pros, there is support for a dedicated manual mode, a pro mode, not just for stills, but even for video. Now that's rare. Number 2, the headphone jack's present and works great, talking about which there is support for FM radio as well. Next up, the earpiece doubles as a speaker, so stereo audio. Now this is something I wish every manufacturer would implement. It's great on the 5Z. Well, we're on the topic of earpiece, cellular reception and call quality were great. There's also support for dual SIM VoLTE. And finally, there is support for NFC. So overall, Asus seem to have provided a very compelling package with the 5Z. It seems to be a good all-rounder. It's fast, it's got great cameras, it looks the part, it's got a lot of frills, tiny tweaks, and offers a great user experience. All this without breaking the bank. The 5Z starts at $29,999 for the 664 variant, making this the cheapest phone with a Snapdragon 845 in India today. So to go back to my original question at the start of this video, is this phone worth buying? Hell yes it is. The 5Z is great value for money. If you're in the market for a phone in this segment, it definitely is worth buying. So there you go, my 2 cents on the Asus Zenfone 5Z. Do you agree with what I've had to say in this video? Do you disagree? Do let me know in the comments below. If you hated the video, you've probably done it already, but this is what you can do. But if you did like it, go ahead, give this video a big huge thumbs up, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications by clicking that bell icon down below. And now, it is time I bid you adieu. Until next time, my name's Ash, you have been watching C4 Retech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye bye.